slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams into modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
12th house. If you're born with planets in the 12th house, you'll surely understand what I'm about to explain. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is, though the new moon happened on the 27th of February, we have the sun and moon in Pisces at that moment. That energy is still palpable. We also have Mercury, Saturn, the North Node, and Neptune in Pisces. That's a lot of water energy, as well as having Mars in Cancer. And if I didn't say it, the North Node in Pisces is really expecting you to get in touch with your soul. I spoke a lot about that, about putting your hand on your heart, the truth organ, in my video on the new moon in Pisces. So please enjoy that. Now, when we talk about 12th house energy, I'm going to give you some of the personal planets and the two social planets to talk to you about what it means when you have those planets in the 12th house. But this energy now for the whole wide world is that quiet, that isolationist, that taking time away from the noise and the busyness of the world. With all these planets in this watery energy, because Cancer's not someone who wants to be out there either, roaring and displaying themselves, neither is Pisces. So this energy is complex because, as I told you in the new moon video on Pisces, Pisces are two fish tied at the tail swimming in two different directions. The complex of this right now is that Jupiter's in Gemini, which is also a duplicitous sign, a twin sign. Pisces are twins, Sagittarians are twins, Gemini are twins. And we've got this energy of feeling pulled possibly in two different directions. You're going to go upstream, you're going to go downstream. You're going to do things to enhance the quality of your soul and character while you have life on this earth, or are you going to do 12th house things and be debauched, be secretive and hidden and even criminal? For Pisces, that house rules prisons. And often when I explain the personal planets, the things that go on in this house are shame-based and things that aren't acceptable to society. And yes, they're criminal. And yes, they're clandestine. And yes, they're secretive. And yes, they're underground. So the reason we're talking about this is because we have so much of that energy in Pisces, which of essential dignity rules the 12th house. And when I did the new moon video, I really went into depth for each of the signs. So go see, because I know Aries is feeling perplexed. We're all feeling a little confounded when it comes to our love relationships, because Venus is in Aries, Mars is in Cancer. Neither of these placements are comfortable for the planets. Venus in Aries is a masculine Aries. It's that relationship where the woman is ruling her husband. He's a bit of a cuckold. She emasculates him, makes him feel impotent, or perhaps he is impotent. And it can be for many, many reasons. If you're a 12th house person and you've indulged your life in chemicals that are aberrant to the body, unfortunately, those are consequences in your middle life, where Mars in Aries is very potent and robust and masculine and forthcoming and driven to go after what he wants. Mars in Cancer, not so much. Mars in Pisces, not so much. This is subversive, watered down Mars energy. It's passive aggressive. It's behaving in a masculine way on the sly. That partner maybe that stabs you in the back at work, somebody going behind your back in secret affairs. And so we've got Mars and Cancer squaring for the week. And so the continuation of couples not really walking in step, not really understanding each other, and not really paying attention to what each other needs is really profound. For Aries, as I said in the new moon video, you can be really feeling depressed and unsure. And if you're involved in secretive relationships, you for sure are going to have trouble, because the new moon means a new chapter, a new beginning. And if you keep on doing what you always did, you're going to keep on getting what you always got. So these themes are pretty profound for the week ahead. There is some really beautiful energy between that Pluto and Aquarius are giving to Mercury. It's at an anaretic degree, and that is pushing you to the next level of communication, giving you that blessing and opportunity to come clean. And my message in the new moon in Pluto was honesty. You have to get very clear, especially you Pisces, about what your life purpose is about and what you want to do. Now, at the same time on Sunday, March 2nd, we have, not only do we have for the week Venus and Mars in a square, but we've got Pisces and Gemini not really gelling because of that Jupiter touching the sun. And that can be an extravagance, an arrogance, an indulgence, mostly on the part of Pisces, for doing things that aren't appropriate. And if the Pisces Gemini have the relationship, Gemini is feeling confounded because Gemini is a very rational thinker. Show me, I can understand your point of view, but we need to talk about it. Whereas the Sun in Pisces is hiding behind the clouds of Neptune, which is anaretic. And anaretic Neptune, as I explained in that new moon video, will be in that degree for this whole month this whole first week for sure, but this whole month. Venus will be retrograde until the 28th of March, where a nice thing happens. It goes back into Pisces and it's in dignity there. So while love can be confounded until that 28th day, in retrograde, it's a time when we revisit, reconsider, repair, realize, all of the words that are reconstruct our financial portfolios and our affection portfolios. Are we being affectionate? Are we telling the truth about the way we feel? Are we getting the short end of the stick in the love relationship? Do we feel abandoned because Mars is in Cancer? He's weak. He's not being the man of the house. He's not providing security and safety. And so those issues are really particular for everybody, but most especially Cancer's feeling it and Aries are feeling it. All the cardinal signs, Capricorn and Libra, are feeling it, but Venus squaring Mars affects the whole population. So the sexes really aren't in step. There's division somehow, some way. And as I said, it can be that couple where she's emasculating him. It can be that couple where he's being deceptive, so she doesn't want to respond and she's checking out. And with this duplicitous energy, we have to consider all the reasons and all the values in the relationship that have to do with affection and purpose. And this can be endings for couples. Make no mistake, the new moon in Pisces is a new beginning, but we have other energies, such as all that 12th house energy, that can be saying, if you're going to neglect your partner, you're going to lose your partner. If you're going to put your partner down, you're going to lose your partner. So Venus squaring Mars, is a pretty serious dilemma. Although if you take the time out and be quiet and you don't make rash decisions right now, by the 28th of March, you can come to the conclusion about whether or not you part and whether or not the relationship can be repaired. So this entire month, I would encourage you, really hone in on your finances, really take a look at things. This isn't the best time to be gambling with anything, love or money. You don't do that when Venus is retrograde. I would also caution you if you're going under the knife for surgical procedures that are supposed to be cosmetic, because there will be follow-ups. You won't be pleased with the outcome. And so before we get into the week, the day of the week, it's a pretty nice week actually, if you can be quiet. One of the benefits about the water signs are that they're very feeling people, they're very introspective, and they do need that 12th house quiet time. Take that time for yourself. Be more quiet than you normally are. The other exciting thing this week is that Ash Wednesday for we Catholics begins our 40 days and 40 nights of fasting and feasting on the Word of God. So as you proceed this week, it's a good time to really get in touch with your spiritual values. That's very 12th house. Pisces go to the extreme of being religious zealots or totally, I just lost my word. When you don't believe in, you don't have any faith in anything. And that can be because of an imbalance of their shadow side, the Virgo energy that's the critic and wants to see, can't believe in faith, doesn't understand the spiritual world, can't relate to what things unseen are, where we have our faith and our connection to heaven. The majority of Pisces are very spiritual, and one of their dilemmas is that they're not footed very well. That's why Pisces rules the feet. Fish don't have feet, so they're not that sure-footed, and they get into slippery, slimy, bad situations because they lack boundaries. So with that, knowing that we have Ash Wednesday coming, knowing that we have a Venus square Mars all week, knowing that we have a preponderance of water, the water element, knowing this, our night skies will be too cloudy to see the stars most likely. There will be a lot of fog on the planet, And relationships can be akin to the weather elements: muddy, sloppy, flooded, feeling overwhelmed, being unclear about where to go. And that's the same thing with the planetary energy: mudslides, lots of water on the planet. It'll be quite the flooded springtime. So if you live near water, rivers, lakes, the ocean, you have to shore up. You have to take precaution, and that's a good thing to do this month. I would also say with Neptune in an anaretic degree, you really need to check carbon monoxide and gas leaks and make sure pipes aren't plugged from the outside coming into the furnace by snow or mud or whatever could be going on, because noxious gases and poisonings are still very prevalent, as is with Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius, that contagion in the air that got me and my family pretty badly with bronchial issues and pneumonias. Our Pope has been in the hospital for 18 days now. And I've got clients and friends and people all over the world, and a lot of us are having these histamine issues with our lungs and our bronchial passages. And I explained why that was in that new moon in Pluto video, so please do check it out. If you stayed with me this long, I'm going to tell you that I made an offer to my private Facebook group, 3 Keys Astrology. Now, I encourage you to become a member of that group because you get a lot of perks. I do a lot of astrology in there. I give a lot of gifts in there. And the first gift I give is when you're welcomed as a new member, I offer you a free mini reading. That goes for you, all your family members, and any of your friends that you would like to participate in that group. But at current, I have had a YouTube channel, I think, for 5 years. I got married and then got really, really sick to the point that I couldn't work for almost a year in 2023. And my immune system still hasn't fully recovered that time. So I'm back now, and I'd like to build the channel, and I'd like it to be monetized, but I need your help. And I'm going to offer you a free reading. You'll get to come be with me for an hour long if you can get 25 of your personal friends and family to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, I can see whether or not there have been new subscriptions. So they indeed need an email address, and most people today know how to go subscribe. So I encourage you to do that. You'll get any reading you want from me. My here and now readings are quite exciting because it's life in the here and now. You can ask me any question. We can look at anything you want to for the reading that I offer you. My email address is ducky@3keysastrology. Again, ducky@3keysastrology. All of my information is available at www.3keysastrology.com, where you can also find my email address, reach out to me, talk to me, ask me questions, and so that's the offer I have. But it's got to be 25 people because I've got to get up to 1,000 subscribers in order to get monetized and become a partner with YouTube. So before I go on to each and every day, and I'm telling you there's some really nice days, the biggest events of the week are that we're still under the new moon in Pisces energy. We will have Mercury ingressing into Aries, that Neptune is still anaretic, that Uranus is still near Algol, and that Pluto is at 2 degrees of Aquarius. Now, if you watch my video starting on November 20th when Pluto plows into Aquarius and you catch up to date, you'll understand everything about what I just said in depth. But I'd like to talk a little bit to you about the 12th house. It's a house of illusion and disillusion, depression, isolation, being put in the hospital. I had almost all my planets, thank God, not my son, or I would have died, in the 12th house at the summer of 2023. And my husband kept saying, let's take a honeymoon. And I kept saying, no, wherever we go, I'm going to end up in the hospital. And sure enough, July 14th began what was a nightmare. until October, when I had 5 kidney surgeries and became septic, which is blood poisoning, and almost died. That's the reason I didn't work a year, and I'm asking for your help. I'm slowly coming back, but that's a dangerous illness and infection when one gets septic. It's a leading cause of death, and it's also the reason many people lose limbs and fingers, toes, legs, hands. Sepsis is serious. So we still have, with Pluto at 2 degrees of Aquarius, we've got to really be careful of airborne ills. So there's a lot of contagion still yet. And air energy is the lungs. Air energy is flying in airplanes. I spoke to you about the danger, said that I hated to say that when I did my Pluto in Aquarius videos for you back in November. And my God, we've had some horrific accidents with helicopters and airplanes. That energy is still strong. I would consult an astrologer before I took a trip, and I would try to take a land trip before I would take an air trip. And I know not everybody has that luxury, and I hate to even make forecasts like this because many people have to fly for a living, but that is the truth, and we are seeing it. So back to the 12th house. People have trouble defining what that means or what that experience is, but it is the end of life when maybe grandparents and parents have to go into a nursing home. It is when society takes you out and puts you in jail because of criminal activity. It is when you're having affairs. It would be the energy of a spy or a counter-terrorist or a double agent who's going behind the organization or a country or a business partner to do business with someone else. We can see 12th house, as I said, in a good light. It's when you're studying in graduate programs and you're working on your thesis. So you're always at the library, a quiet place of study. It's a hermetic energy. It's a monastic energy. It's contemplative, and either you're forced to go there or you go there willingly. And the 12th house, when people have a lot of planets born, they have this secret other side to themselves that is usually shame-based because of what their activities are. It can be the house of the alcoholic or the heroin addict, the drug user that looks okay by day during work, but they're in a closet somewhere shooting up, or in the bathroom downing a fifth of whiskey. I had a really good friend that was so hurt by this energy. Children of alcoholics are often have problems in society and in relating because of the shame that went on in their family and the secrets that went on. Because with that kind of drug abuse and alcoholism often comes sexual abuse. And my friend, even though when we were friends, she was in her 30s, was still harboring such pain and deep suffering because her mom was an alcoholic, and she would say I'd get off the bus and knew it was going to be a bad day when the curtains were closed because her mom wasn't up and around. Alcoholics and drug addicts are unavailable to their families, so are people having affairs and people that don't live in the light or have a drug business or have some kind of secret hidden other life that the family would be ashamed of, or there would be criminal repercussions for the behavior. And when you're born in a family like that, maybe a mob family, a cartel family, there's a lot of secretive activity going on that you can't have friends over, or you're ashamed about what's going on at your house. So that's what we see when we see 12th house energies and issues and planets there. I'll go briefly through the personal planets. I teach astrology. If you didn't understand what I was talking about when I said Pisces is of essential dignity, the 12th house, hence the reason I'm going into this depth. We've got, again, the sun there right now, Mercury right there, at an anaretic degree, which means communications aren't clear or aren't true and honest. We have Neptune there at an anaretic degree, meaning things are unclear, we're not sure, it's foggy, we can't see through to the person, things aren't being explained clearly, or there's big fantasies going on, lots of deception and disillusionment, and that happens. We've got the North Node in Pisces. And again, I spoke in depth about what that means, and that means getting purely, totally honest with oneself, one's purpose, the legacy you want to leave, what you want to be remembered for, the quality of your character, Pisces. This is on point and going to really unfold this next 18 months. You can't hide. You're going to be seen for who you are and what you are. And if you don't align to your highest goodness and your birthright, when God made you pure and clean and freshly baptized, you're going to have a lot of problems this next 18 months. You can't be swimming in two different directions, living two different lives, because you've got a new moon there and everyone's going to be able to see exactly what's going on and whether or not they're going to put up with that duplicity. You can't afford to twin off. You can't afford to live a double life. You got to live honest and true. So with the North Node there, and fate happens. So it could be that you're paying the consequences of your duplicitous behavior. Anything that is dishonest or not appropriate to society and not what is the truth for what you pretend you're living. On Sunday, I'll tell you that Cancers and Aries and Gemini and Pisces are having difficulty with each other. Cancer and Aries, Libra and Capricorn more in the relationship between the Venus-Mars square, love and money issues with partners and family members and business partnerships. For Gemini and Pisces, it's not telling the truth. And it's still as serious because honesty is required in order for you to get through March, or you're going to find lots of endings in your relationships. You especially, Pisces, this is a karmic time for you, and your fate is being determined. And when fateful things happen to us, those can be unplanned pregnancies, those are family members dying, those are moments when God is in control, we're not in control. But we are in control of our daily life and the way we treat each other. And that's why this forecast is so important for really the whole month of March, based on that new moon energy in Pisces, where you'll get all the details. So back to my little friend. Pisces is quite emotional, highly sensitive. They have problems with not having boundaries. So boundaries are the parents that let the kids drink and do drugs in the house. That would be a Piscean lack of boundary. Boundaries are when we don't teach our children the importance of their body, their soul, and the gift that God gave them. These are people that are born without any moral compass, without any religious compass. Again, Pisces without boundaries. And so they get misused, or they'll misuse their physical body by sharing it with too many people, by poisoning it, by getting infected. And that's on a soul level, not only on a physical level. So if you're promiscuous, and if you have no boundaries with your body, and if you share a relationship with someone that has no boundaries with his or her body, that's toxic, that's poisonous, and that's infectious, especially on a soul level, but also on a physical level. So these are the lack of boundaries that 12th house issues can infer. And my friend, although she was an adult living independently of her mother, still suffered the trauma bond of the pain and shame of a mommy that's an alcoholic, passed out drunk. The curtains are closed. I can't have my friends over. I can't play after school out in the sunshine, open and honest and true, like Leo is, the sun-ruled sign. Everything's out in the open. There's nothing hidden. It's not secretive. There's no twinning off. Two things aren't going on. A public persona and then deep, dark secrets in private. So when we have friends or family, or if you're born with a sun in the 12th house, this is some kind of secretive energy involving the father, and a Pisces baby especially, but Cancer babies and Scorpio babies, we're the signs that are most intuitive. So we can feel things going on. We're tuned into the unspoken world. We don't need words. We feel. People that are born with 12th house planets are often psychic or have mediumship talent, or are very extrasensory, highly perceptive, highly intuitive. That energy is here for all of us now, so you have to really tap into it and trust it and feel it throughout this month. When you have the sun in the 12th house, though, there's something secretive about the father in your life, and in the physical fact that he could be deceased. He's not available to you. He could have abandoned the family. He could indeed be that alcoholic. You can't talk to a passed out drunk. You can't talk or rely on or count on an alcoholic or a drug addict. They're beholden to their drug, their drink, or their addictions. So a 12th house father is someone who's not there for the child somehow, some way, nor for the family. He could be absent because he works abroad. He could be away in the military serving. He could have abandoned the family, like I said. I've done over 10,000 readings for people all over the world, and when the sun is there, the father is not there for the family, has willfully chosen to leave and go off in his own ego, because the sun represents the ego, leaving behind a suffering, depleted family. And the sad thing is, the little child, even infants, while they can't talk, until a child is 7 years old, they're still very much connected to heaven, where they were created. A sad thing happens at age 7. We all face our first Saturn experience, when the child kind of gets really earthed and grounded. And there will be something about your age when you're 7. Please comment below if you remember having some kind of reality check. The child is now no longer as spiritual as they once were. They're more earthbound. And so goes their life until they go back into that willingly or by some kind of fate, back into the spirit world. So there's a lot of suffering with the sun toward the father or authority figures when the sun's placed in the 12th house. If you have the moon in your 12th house, the moon is your mom, it's your emotions, it's what you need to fulfill yourself. And you can really be somebody who keeps your emotions secret or hidden, or you can be involved in relationships that are not out in the light of the day. And you can also have difficulty with your mom somehow, some way, just like that father was absent. So can it be your mom, like my friend Jill and her mom that was alcoholic? Mom's beholden to something else that is not nurturing the child or nourishing the child or protecting the child. She'd get up in the morning and get herself ready for school. Mom didn't have a breakfast. Mom didn't have her lunch packed. Mom didn't have her clothes laid out. Mom didn't even buy her new clothes for school. And those are some of the consequences when parents are absent, because they're more interested in what their addictions are drawing them to. So you can have a mother that's emotionally unstable, histrionic, or a mommy that's been put in a mental institution, someone put away because they're unhinged or unstable with the moon here. And so you'll have some kind of shame based around your feelings for nurturing. And that's how you get into bad relationships. And you take the crumbs of people by maybe being the lover of someone who's married, or being involved in relationships where you're just available to them when they call you, but otherwise not in a respected relationship. If you have Mercury in the 12th house, this has something to do with children in the family and some kind of family secrets and shame involved. This can be actually incestuous relationships with brothers and sisters, which is not uncommon when children are exploring and feeling out their bodies. But there's something that you have deep and are keeping secret with Mercury here. You can't always say the way you really feel for some reason. This can also be people that are very interested in the spiritual realm to the other extreme, going into some kind of reliance on the spirit world for your reasoning, whether it's going to talk to a medium or believing that your tarot cards and astrology cards show the truth of the matter, or kind of an extreme and fanatical religious person who thinks that they can do no wrong because they're exceedingly forgiven. And there's a disconnection with forthcoming, straightforward communication. And it's also being afraid to say how you feel because of something going on secretive in your home life. Now, when you have Venus in the 12th house, you're not sharing your emotions and affections or your financial prosperities. You don't feel financially abundant. You don't feel affectionately abundant. And you keep to yourself. It can be kind of a shyness or a shame-based experience of having love affairs that are inappropriate and that have to be hidden from the light of the day. People who have Venus in the 12th house are often incredible musicians or artists. And again, the secretive part of away from the rest of society is during that creation process, when you're in the sculpting studio for 20 hours, a day, or you can't sleep because you're in a creative thrust. So it's not always clandestine, it's not always hidden, it's not always a betrayal, but it's often being misused somehow in a loving relationship because your partner is going behind your back, or you're the one who's going behind the partner's back. There's something that's not brought to the bright light of the sun with Venus in the 12th house. And that can be a signature for someone embezzling too from a business, or pilfering a cash register, or embezzling in a workplace. When you're born with Mars in the 12th house, this is that wet Mars again. This is indeed a signature of impotence in people that don't have sexual prowess. You don't express yourself forthcoming, and your actions can be covert and hidden. And so there's a very secretive nature, and you're always going to be in conflict. You're always going to have problems, and you're never going to be forthcoming as long as you're doing things behind other people's back. Mars in the 12th house. Mars in Pisces and Mars in Cancer are the same. They're the weakest positions for Mars. And so we can be suspect about people and their intentions that have Mars here. Or if there's a period of your life in transition in the here and now, maybe someone will come to me for a reading, and a compatibility reading, and I'll see that the husband has Mars transiting that 12th house. And maybe he was born with Mars in Cancer or Mars in Pisces, a not dignified Mars. Well, you can bet your bottom dollar that he's doing things behind the scenes and behind the family's back with this aspect. I'll just tell you about the two social planets, which are Jupiter and Saturn. Unless these planets and the outer planets are touching your personal planets, they don't apply to the personality. They're more about social. But if you have Jupiter in the 12th house, this is a pretty cool and lucky little thing. And it's hidden only because you can't see it. It's your guardian angel. It's in the 12th house. Having personal planets in the 12th house, you're a bit of a fallen angel. And if you don't know the story of Archangel Michael, it's time to open up your Bible this month of March during Lenten and learn about him. And so it can be really nice when Jupiter's here, because somehow, some way, a hidden entity could be an ancestral bond, karmically, that adores you, that helped you be created when God put you together with the roots and branches of your ancestry. And having that Jupiter here is having a guardian angel, a spirit guide, being really in touch with Jesus and Mother Mary, the Holy Family. You have blessing when Jupiter's here, and it'll help you overcome things in this lifetime. Saturn here, on the other hand, it's a kind of like a little lucky charm, kissed on your forehead at your birth with Jupiter here. It's indeed the energy of godparents promising your parents to look after you should something happen in their lives where they can't. So Jupiter here is beautiful energy. Saturn here is not a beautiful energy. Saturn in Pisces is difficult, but Saturn in the 12th house proves the depression and isolation that a lot of Pisces go through. The reason they have this urge to merge is they want to belong. And the reason they have trouble with lack of boundaries is somehow, some way, they don't feel loved or cared for. And so they go to places they shouldn't go to get fixes or to get that kind of attention. So there's a seriousness about people who have Saturn in this house. And they can be the people on the fringes of society who don't belong, who have been excommunicated from the family or society and don't feel part of it. And with that, I'm going to carry on and talk to you about the week ahead. So I've described Sunday can be difficult for Pisces and Geminis to relate to each other because of dishonesty and speculation and that foggy, Neptunian, muddy, sloppy, messy relationship energy. For Cancer, Aries, Libra, and Capricorn, it can be having discord with your lover, not feeling like you're being cared for, your needs aren't being met, you're not being heard, you don't feel loved and nurtured. This will be for all of us for the week ahead, so it's up to you what you decide to do with it. A lot of us are going to wall off and not want to talk to our partner because it's the same old broken record. It's the same old betrayal, it's the same old dishonesty, and yet that means the end of the relationship. If you don't find common ground and you can't come together to make new beginnings, the new moon in Pisces, the north node in Pisces, your relationship will come to an end in the spring this year. On Monday, we've got Mercury entering Aries. So all the energy that's Pisces now is going to float into Aries, and this, you could call it an overlay of a theme happening for all of us. So we're going from a group, collective energy into a bit of a selfish. Aries, sorry to say, is one of my least favorite signs. I find them very difficult to get along with. I'm a Taurus, and you'll find that the sign on either side of you can offer you some kind of contention because the energy is in a semi-sextile, which is a point of agitation. So what I don't like about Aries is they're too quick to be first. And we're going to have a lot of that energy. The month of April is never fun for me. I have a lot of relatives that have this energy that I didn't quite get along with. Anyway, I won't go into all the details about that, but some of you have the same thing. Aries is in a hurry. They want to be first. When you're living in cities, if you're out people watching, they're the people who don't hold the door for the next person. They're the people who walk the fastest. They're the people who, in organizations, have their own agendas and kind of are blind to see what everybody else wants. So this overlay that we have is Pisces is about the group and the family and everyone, and it's our church gatherings. That's a very spiritual Pisces energy. The whole congregation comes together to pray. Pisces wants everyone to feel happy and get along and blend in and get along with each other. Aries, not so much. Aries is about Aries. And Aries represents the infant in the zodiac, the very first sign. If you talk about people going through the stages of life, Pisces is the end of life, old age, going back to where our source is, heaven, hopefully. Going back into the good graces in God's arms, hopefully at the end, Pisces. Aries at the beginning is a little infant. Feed me, clothe me, give me everything I need, I want, gimme. It's a natural part of the process of being helpless, Aries. So your mommy has to nurse you and they have to change your diaper, and that's just a part of living, a part of life. It's the ages and stages of childhood, but that's that infant that immediately wants instant gratification, Aries. So when you have planets in these places, instant gratification, hence Mercury there. So we're going to see our kids being a little rambunctious for this month and wanting to get outside and needing to get outside and needing to spend energy. So on Monday, when the Mercury enters Aries, the moon's entering Taurus. So there's a little conflict there because Taurus's moon wants quiet and snuggling and cuddling and loving and that quiet stuff. They don't want the busybody energy that Aries can be. And we also have at 7 o'clock at night Eastern Standard Time, I'm broadcasting from southwestern New York, where I live, and Eastern Standard Time is what I talk about. You have to adjust your time accordingly for where you live in the world. But we've got the moon in Taurus in a big square to Pluto and Aquarius. We've had this energy a lot all through the fall, hence the reason I'm asking you to be very, very careful in big public places, not only for the contagious infectious diseases that are out there right now, mostly airborne, but also because of danger. If you don't have to be out at night, don't be out at night. It's not going to be good. And especially to be concerned are Taurians and Aquarians. Aquarians, again, come get your readings. You're going through a lot with this Pluto ingression. It's going to stay there till 2043. You will go through major life changes. Pisces, with the North Node there, come get your readings. This is an 18-month thing that won't happen to you again, but it will be profound for you for the next 19 years. For Pisces hasn't been in that sign since 19 years ago. Now we'll go on to Tuesday. I really, really, really like Tuesday, and I really, really like Wednesday this week. Those are my two favorite days for the week. There's a lot of harmony. The moon in Taurus is my natural born moon, and it's the moon of farmers, it's the moon of mommies, it's the moon of people who nurture one another, it's a nursing moon, it's a moon of psychologists who care about your well-being. It's a beautiful moon that enhances Pisceans. So with all that, with the sun in Pisces, this is very good for Pisces, Taurus, Scorpio, Cancer. The earth signs will enjoy this, Virgo, Capricorn. Again, be still this week. Excuse me. Be quiet this week. Be contemplative this week. Open up your Bible this week. Ash Wednesday's coming. Think about what you're going to fast on. Think about what you're going to feast on. It's the Word of God. It's your holiness. And measure your holiness to your shamefulness. That's what we're supposed to be doing during this 40 days and 40 nights when on Easter we have a brand new beginning. And it is at that point that these Pisces fish are either going to be at the end of the rope with family members or on to a brand new beginning in holiness and purity. On Tuesday, we have the sun and moon in harmony, so couples will get along. We have the moon and Mars all week long in a really nice energy, which started yesterday to help us do the things that we need to get done. So I love every spring to freshen the paint. I love to do the woodwork. I love to get my household things done so we can enjoy summer, but get all that spring preparation work done. We're going to need a lot of it because of the Neptune degree of all the flooding and the mud and the repairs that need done. God bless the people in war-torn and weather-torn countries, counties, cities. There's a lot of rebuilding that needs to be done, and this is really profound. It's more the planning stage because we have too much water energy and not enough earth energy. The earth energy that we do have is shaking. So we're going to see some more quakes. We're going to see more volcanic action. We're between eclipses. I'm going to do videos on the lunar and solar eclipse that you can look forward to. So we've got a lunar eclipse coming on March 14th. look for crazy weather. It's going to be crazy. We're not done with the snow, everyone. So if you live in areas where there's lots of snow, we're going to have even more. We're going to have high winds and lots of snow and watery, wet, soggy conditions. On the 28th and 29th, there's another eclipse coming. That's a solar eclipse. That's a little better than the first one, but I'll go into the details. So not only are you between the new moon rays of Pisces energy, but you're also going to be in this complex between Virgo and Pisces, getting realistic, but letting go of your critical self, being critical to others, and then being more natural. Maybe that's what you can fast on during Lenten, that energy that's not doing anybody any good, but it's often because you're putting up with a lot of stuff that you shouldn't put up with either. So you'll be in a really between your spiritual values and what's actually going on, Virgo. And with Venus retrograde, having a really good look at your relationship and your finances. On Tuesday, we also have the moon in a sextile to Saturn. So moon with Mars is get up and get your things done. What do I need emotionally? Figure that out. When there's harmony with Saturn, that's very good for doing a little inside home repairs. Quietly going around. If you need to fix the floors, or you need to fix the ceilings, or maybe you have electrical outlets that aren't covered, or it's a good time for home repairs Tuesday. The moon is also conjunct Uranus on this day, and Pluto's there blessing that too. There's a pretty little bisextile that's harmonious for Taurians, Aquarians, Plutonian people like Scorpions. A lot of incredible insight coming from the heavens about what to do next and how to resolve things. It's beautiful on Tuesday and plentiful on Wednesday. This energy for healing, restoring, rebuilding, reconfiguring, reestablishing. You can do a lot of positive, healthy things when Venus is retrograde. And I love Tuesday and I love Wednesday. On Wednesday, we have the moon in a harmony to Neptune. This is a good day to just watch movies or old family films, to get nostalgic about our loved ones and our family members, to be very thankful for them. The moon will enter Gemini early in the morning, so you can have a lot of romance between Tuesday and Wednesday overnight. Treat your partner, show people that you care. Open up, don't be that impotent Mars that's hanging back and not giving the love he should give. That dilemma of the man being feminine and the woman being masculine. No, no, no. That's unnatural and against nature. Men love women for our softness and for the comfort we offer him when he's secure in our arms, in our bodies, with us. Men need that. And women need men that are going to show the woman that he loves that she is the one and only, that he desires her, that he loves her, that he protects her, that he will not betray her, he will not talk behind her back. And that will cure that Venus Mars square and also the Venus retrograde dilemmas. And if you don't have men that are capable of doing that are impotent, that are infantile, that are acting more feminine than masculine, that are going behind your back, that are being deceptive and sneaky, cut them off. That doesn't give anybody good health, and it's only toxic and puts you on a spin that's no good for you. Now on Ash Wednesday, please do go to church. It's a great time of the year in new moon in Pisces is when you go to confession, the priest gives you offers you contrition, and it can be in a penance for you to do, to wash your soul clean and to be refreshed anew. So we have Mercury and Pluto in harmony. We've got the moon and Pluto in harmony. We have the moon and Venus in harmony, and the moon and Neptune in harmony. So Ash Wednesday is really heaven sent and blessed for you to fix a lot of things, mend a lot of things. In the quiet, it's a good time if you like old-fashioned mending of socks or knees on jeans. I highly recommend physically getting out that needle and thread and mending. Mending repairs, tailpipes, plumbing, gas, checking the gas and monitors in your home. All very important right now this week. Thursday is a little bit different. The morning is nice until around just before lunchtime. That heavenly blessing that comes along with our Lenten graces and that Tuesday delicious energy of cooperation, collaboration, healing, and mending changes a little bit around lunchtime when we've got our first square between the sun and the moon. And that's Gemini and Pisces again in that dilemma of not being honest or being torn in two places. Torn between two lovers, torn between two decisions, torn between two family members, torn in half. And they have to come to some kind of congruence to heal that. So that's going to happen around lunchtime. And then the other dilemma that we have at 8:30 at night between the same two parties that decide not to get along and are still playing two sides of the fence or trying to appease two different people at the same time, they're going to have conflict that'll come to the home. And you can expect a sleepless night, Pisces and Gemini, if you don't get your story straight and if you're not faithful to your priorities. On Friday, I caution you not to sign legal documents and not to believe Pisces who are telling tales. And Geminis too that seem to be flitting around uncentered. So that's if you're around anybody who's overly ambitious and scattered, don't expect anything from that kind of person ever. Somebody who's always got to be a busybody and on the go isn't anyone that's faithful to anyone but a whim. They're kind of blown in the wind, and we can have this energy because we have Sun in a square to Neptune, and it's probably a messy, rainy day, I would say, or a snowy day. But things get a little bit better around lunchtime when the energy of that scattered energy, the moon goes into Cancer. But Cancer's having some conflict because Mars is still there, and Mars isn't comfortable there, so can still have problems with your family, Cancer. We have been. Our family and our intimates, we have been since the fall. And unfortunately, Friday, we can have that same conflict with Aquarians and Arians. Mercury, it's better to just be quiet and feel your feelings, Cancers. Know what you know, and it's good enough. You don't need to talk about it. You don't need to fight about it, because we have a square with Mercury going on. That applies to everybody. So mommies and little children, your kids are going to be really rambunctious. And once again, I'm encouraging, they need to get outside and play. You need to have them spend that physical energy because they're going to be mouthy and backtalk and have a lot of problems this week. We also have the moon in conjunction to Pluto. And so, again, that's that same warning about public places and big crowds. People are going in factions taking to the streets over issue after issue after issue. Does it really resolve anything? I don't think so. There are other ways in the age of Aquarius to resolve issues, and it's not fighting in the street. So we've got factions now because of the event that happened at the White House for Ukraine, who our hearts and souls bleed and pray for. We got to keep on bleeding and praying for causes like that. But if you're going to be stubborn and not accept solutions, and this is in your personal life and private life, we're seeing this all across the country. So it's like President Trump said, if you want to keep on fighting, we're out. He was offering somewhat of a solution. The choice is still Zelensky's, but by going out, I talked about the whoring of yourself when I did the new moon video for you, by going to other countries and looking for other propositions when they don't have the strength, that the United States of America is going to be a detriment to that country. And I feel very badly that President Trump wasn't a little more sensitive. And I understand where he and J.D. Vance were coming from, but Ukraine has been through it. And it's like taking a beaten or abused wife and saying either you stay there with a husband because he's paying your bills and your kids have something to eat isn't very, very comfortable, and it's not very nurturing, and it's not gonna solve anything really. So I didn't like the bullying that went on, and I didn't like the tone, and I didn't like that it happened out in the public. And so we're going to see through this week with the moon in conjunct Pluto we're going to hear more of that story. Unfortunately, it's going to look like more of a divide than a solution. And with Mercury, which is going to be going retrograde this month, and Venus retrograde, the resolution's not going to happen when it could have happened. I mean, that was the last day for it to happen, because the very next day Venus went retrograde. So I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry for the people in these that are living in those hells of continuing war. And I feel badly for all of you that are. You're not alone. Lots of people are. So on Saturday, finally, we still have, well, actually it happens on Friday too, but not until 9 o'clock at night. So people working the night shift, especially if you're a water sign, Scorpio, Pisces, or Cancer, Friday night can be a really good night at work, really good night in hospitals, lots of healing going on. And that blends into Saturday morning. We have the moon, the sun really, really happy with Mars again. The water signs coming to conclusions, getting healing. I encourage you to go to spa treatments. Get near the water. Even if it's the water in the winter, it's still water and still cleansing and still healing. That's really good, but around dinner time, women cannot be getting along with each other, and Cancer and Aries are still back at it, which means that Venus-Mars square of not getting along cannot be very good. The moon, however, and the sun are both in harmony to Mars. So if you quietly get your tasks done, your deeds done, Saturday can be quite productive. If you get too emotionally involved, and you're out loud with repeating the past hurts can really come up, because the moon's in a square to Chiron, and Eris, the goddess of chaos, is here too. So you really have to give people a time out, and you really have to draw your lines and boundaries for people that are being dishonest, for people that are chaos creators, for people that are busybodies and have their nose in everyone else's business, can't sit still, are running around. That is going to be a no-go for March and going to be an end to relationships. So this is me. I hope you enjoy this video, Lori. I made that offer to you. I'm not going to repeat it, so you got to listen to the video. I've never offered this before. My work is costly when it comes to time, very analytical, but I'm offering you a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get a free reading with me. But I need your part and your help in this too. So I hope you help each other through this week. I hope you have a really good Lenten. Hope you're looking forward to the fasting and feasting of these 40 days and nights of devout prayer and holiness. And I hope that you're forming strong bonds and living your life with integrity and honesty and trusting your intuition, putting your hand on your heart, that truth organ, and feeling in to what you deserve. Your birthright was goodness, was light, was honesty, was truth, was abundance, was security. And each and every person listening to this deserves it, and so does everybody that you love. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.